It has been a year since we left on our Prius road trip, and after all of the adventures, we are back home, settling into what will be our new life. And so we thought we should answer the question, what's next? Hey team, before we get into this video, I need to apologize for the audio quality in this video because in the rush to make this video while we are moving back home, I just pressed a button I shouldn't have, and it doesn't sound the best ever, and it bothers me, and hopefully it doesn't bother you as much as it bothers me, but I just needed to say that before the video goes on. Please, enjoy. I'll shut up now. Hello team, and welcome to our first Q&A in a very, very long time now that we have settled back here at home on Vancouver Island.
Feels very surreal to be back right now. We're in Nanaimo. This is my parents' house. It's been in other videos before, hence why there's so much children artwork on the fridge. Yeah, it feels good to be home, and we realize that this is such a big transition moment in our life and for this channel. So we want to answer all y'all questions.
Starting off relevantly, we have a question. How does it feel being home?
It still feels pretty surreal. Like it does. I'm like, did the last year happen? Now being here, it's amazing, but I'm like, did all of those amazing adventures like even happen? I don't know.
I will say that I have struggled more than Leah has. I think that Leah handles transition times better than I do generally is probably the answer there. It is weird to go from the car where everything was under our control, everything was up to us, we decided what we did every single day and it was only about us, to having roommates who are your in-laws and, you know, having to accommodate for their needs, but then also thinking about the fact that we're gonna have a kid soon.
Yeah, I'm nesting hard right now. Will you be moving back into your old apartment? Where is home now? And how did the rental go?
The reason that we are here in Leah's parents' house is because we will not be going back to our apartment. It's a bit of a story. We're gonna get into that fully in a video, but the plan right now is that we're gonna be in Leah's parents' home when we have our kid.
Yeah. There's a lot to unpack there. I love that apartment so much, and it doesn't mean that we'll never go back there, but this year, no, we are gonna be here.
On another note, the rental went well. Our renters are amazing.
Oh, our renters, so easy.
Zero issues.
Yeah, like we've barely like chatted. We're like, hey, do you need anything? And they're like, nah, we're good.
What element of your trip would you, A, gladly have missed, either a single event, location, or activity that you had to repeatedly do, and B, would you want to do more of?
Gladly missed getting a ticket in the US. That I would say was like the peak, most stressful moment. Not even getting pregnant living in a Prius. It was Levi getting that ticket and just the police officer and the court and like that whole thing.
Yeah.
No, thank you. But it was very quickly followed up with one of the best like hikes and most beautiful national parks that we went to. So while we went to a lot of parks on the west coast of the US, there aren't as many on the East Coast, but we were also rushing. So that's something that I would gladly do more of. More hiking, more camping in like these beautiful national parks.
So if you're wondering what we're talking about, the first thing that happened when we came into the US is we got a ticket. We had to go to court and do a whole bunch of other stupid stuff. And this is actually a video that we are going to be reacting to on our Patreon page. We're gonna go back through a couple of like the big videos that people requested, and we're gonna do like sort of a react style video series over on Patreon. So if you're interested in seeing that and you wanna see more of our faces, there will be a link to that down in the description. Would you have extended the trip if it wasn't for the baby?
Yes and no. We had some great plans to travel around the east coast of Canada for like 2 or 3 months, and that would have been so fun. We have so many amazing friends who live out there. We really wanted to see you. I'm so sorry we didn't get to you. But at the same time, now being home, a year is a long time. I think that's too long for me to be away from our community.
I think around Christmas was when we kind of realized that we were pretty well at our limit for travel. And that's about the 6-month mark. I think truly 6 months is the absolute end of what you can do as a traveler without like losing your attachment to home in a pretty serious way. Like after 6 months, you've missed most of the birthdays. You have missed out on a number of life moments of people that you care about, and you're starting to like forget what it was like to live at home. And not that that's bad. I think that that's an important life experience. It's something that contributed to the intensity of this trip. But I don't know if I would do it again, because I know that we are going to be able to travel more in the future because of our lifestyle, and I don't think I would push it that far again, because it was pretty challenging at times.
And regardless of the age of people you have in your life, but especially when there's little people, you know, between our niece and our nephews, a full year when they're little, like, that's a time. Really long time. And now that we're about to have our own kid, I'm like, yeah, I'm okay with us being a bit more stationary and then going off on like some amazing adventure for like 2, 3, 4 months and fully embracing that.
Yeah.
But then coming home and settling into that a bit more deeply. Have you this is a great question. We've gotten a lot. Have you thought of drawing inspiration for your baby name based on an experience you've had during this past year? Basically, have you considered naming your baby Prius? Levi, thoughts?
We will not be naming the baby Prius. I think for us, like, it would be weird for us to name our kids something like Mexico inspired, because like we're not Mexican, we're not Latino or anything.
We did have someone suggest Miguel, and I'm like, oh, I mean, that's a lovely name.
It's a great name.
Great name.
We're way too white to name our kid Miguel.
No, I'm like, our families are like English and German. Like, we should probably, you know, stick in our own lane. But maybe I like the idea of like being inspired by the experience, but our kid is already going to have such a story of how they came into the world that I don't know if their name for the rest of their life needs to reflect that. And then what will happen to our second kid? I mean,
we'll just name him Kyle.
If there are any Kyles watching, I'm so sorry, but we are not naming our child Kyle.
I wonder how you plan on approaching sharing your baby's life online. We got this comment quite a bit. Are you speaking about this, and what boundaries to protect them will you put in place? We have talked about this. We talked about this when we were hanging out with Wild We Roam. And there's a number of creators that we follow that I'm sure you follow as well. Travel Beans just had a kid. Ryan Louie just had a kid. And yeah, how you share that baby's life in your online life is a very big question.
When we were talking to Dana and Lou and their decision to like share Max, Dana talked about how hard it was for the first 6-7 months of his life for him not to be in the videos because they're documenting their life, right? But I've seen other people, other creators like Hannah Witten, who still shares moments from her life, but she always just puts like a little heart emoji over her child's face. I think for us, we're still figuring out what our life is even gonna look like with a child. That's the first priority. And then we're gonna talk about, what that's gonna look like. But rest assured, this is not becoming like a baby channel. No. Like, heaven forbid, we are not, the channel will never be about our child, but they may be in little snippets of it because that's the reality of our life. And I'll also say, y'all are amazing. We have a wonderful, wonderful audience, a wonderful community that we feel relatively safe sharing so much about our lives and being very intimate about it. And we don't want to make that decision for our child, but we're in a flexible space right now.
Yeah, we're not mega famous. Like if we had 2 million people following us, and we had people like showing up at our house or trying to take pictures of us when we're at dinner or something, I would be a lot more cautious about how we publicized our child. But we're we're just a couple of little YouTubers with like a very cute audience of people who like us. And maybe that's a naive perspective, but it's a way for me to express our thanks to you for being so down to earth. I mean, we literally just picked up a bunch of diapers from one of you, who Courtney here in Nanaimo was like, hey, I just finished using all my cloth diapers. Do you want some? And we were like, yes.
Yeah. Team, they're really nice diapers. I'm fully convinced that everyone has a place on their body that smells like a food when they skip a shower or two. For me, it's behind my ears and it smells like Parmesan. Okay. What are your guys' body part / food?
Okay, well, let me see. It smells great, but I don't know what food it is.
Levi's always sniffing my head, so that's kind of a different thing.
Like,
you know, sometimes when you haven't showered and I think like we're snuggling in bed, it's kind of like your chest and behind your ear. It kind of smells like peanut butter.
wow.
But I kind of like, I don't not like it,
No,
you know, because I'll keep snuggling you. I don't want to eat you in that moment, but you know, like I like peanut butter and I like you, so it works. But I don't smell like a food item to you?
No.
Oh.
Now, this is a comment that we received, especially from people who don't follow our channel. We got a lot of comments, people being like, hey, where did you buy those blue speckled bowls that you use on the road? I've been trying to buy them, and I haven't been able to find them.
Okay, team, I found these at the local pharmacy in 100 Mile House, BC. They're amazing. I was totally gonna buy completely different bowls, but these were in like the dog bowl section with lids on them. And we love them so much. Levi's parents bought them. I don't actually know.
I think the reason why you are probably not able to find them is because you're searching for human bowls when you need to be searching for dog bowls.
And potentially in the like container section. So not in like, I was looking in the camping utensils section. Head over to the container section because it has a lid. Oh, okay. Is Leah with you as like a make-a-wish thing? Asking so I can find myself a genius babe wife too.
Wow.
Oh.
That's great.
Oh, I don't know if I should be like offended or complimented right now.
Well, no, I think like you're with me because like I'm the Make-A-Wish and my wish was to be with you.
Yeah, no, I know.
Oh.
I got that.
Oh. I thought you were confused about the...
No, I got the Make-A-Wish thing. Levi's also a really good catch. Honestly, I'll just like a brief aside. This is like my, academic brain thing here. I think there are a lot of men who are very intimidated by accomplished and intelligent women.
Okay.
And go for it. Be with someone, regardless of gender, be with someone who challenges you, be with someone who wants to do interesting things and wants to maybe make the world a better place, is interested in their own self-improvement, but who also you can just laugh with. Anyway, so there's a lot of time where it's like, oh, it's easy to be with this person, and while you don't want it to be difficult, you want to have some challenges, right? Like you want to have that little spice, that little bit of tension. I don't know. I that's what I think.
You turned this absolutely hilarious joke comment into like a very deep and meaningful response. That was very nice. I have nothing to add. Would you do the trip again with a child, a kid, or a teen? Will you travel this way in the future? Yes, absolutely. Our plan is to travel this way in the future, and our plan is to travel this future in the way with a travel. Our plan is to travel with kids. We are in the midst of trying to figure out how that might look. But yeah, kids are a part of our life, and our goal, even though we have not had kids yet, our goal is that the kids will just become a part of our lives rather than us changing our lives to do kid things. We want the kids to do the things that we like to do.
I think the travel experiences that I had when I was a kid, which wasn't international by any means, it was mainly just camping and things like that, but those sorts of experiences were so enriching, and I'm so grateful to both of our parents that they instilled like the value, the importance of traveling, of experiencing the world outside of your own community. And I really want to pass that on to our kid. So we're not going to do it in the Prius because that's not going to happen again, especially when there's 3 or 4 of us. So a bigger rig for sure, but definitely we want to do that. And I'm just really looking forward to exploring the world, but with a child, right? Children are just like so scrumptious and full of joy and curiosity that I love how they interpret and see the world, and how amazing to go on a trip with someone who's just so filled with like
joy.
This
and
joy.
Wonder.
Exactly. The wonder for the world. Like that's why we travel, is to go experience these things. And so I can't wait to do it with our little bean.
So what is your next vehicle? This is probably the question that we got the most. It is the question that pertains the most to our channel. I will do a little bit of a reveal here and say that we have already made moves towards our future rig. The ball is in motion. We know what we will be driving, and we're gonna keep it a little bit of a secret right now because it's YouTube. You know, we gotta like tease you a little bit.
We also have a lot of things going on right now.
It's a crazy time. It's a crazy time, and we don't have the bandwidth, honestly, to like actually deal with that next chapter before we're done this chapter. But yes, there will be a next vehicle, and we will reveal it soon.
I will say, though, that this isn't goodbye to the Prius, because we're actually going to co-own it with my mom. She's going to sell her car so that both of my parents have hybrid vehicles. And, you know, Levi and I work from home. We don't actually need a vehicle that often. So I'm excited that the Prius is staying in the family. Please don't take this the wrong way, because I'm certainly in favor of everyone making their own reproductive choices, whatever they are. But as a couple who's built your brand on being eco-conscious, why are you doing one of the least environmentally friendly things possible by having a child?
Yes, having a child in North America is not great for the planet because we consume a lot of resources here in North America. But I think it is an incredibly oversimplistic answer to say don't have children in order to save the planet, because we as humans only exist if we create more humans. It is our biological necessity to create more of ourselves in order to further our species on this planet. It is already one of the most intense experiences that we have had, and our child is not even in the world yet. And I don't think that you could ever deny or question or critique a human's desire to have a child based on the desire to save the planet. Like our pregnancy is about, you know, having a kid, something for us, but it's also our hope to create a human that's going to be pretty awesome, that's going to help the world.
What I want to add is that even though it has already been a hugely transformational experience for me, for Levi and I, and how we relate to our families, I find it so encouraging that so many people are really intentionally choosing not to have kids, but I want that to come from a place of empowerment and not a place of guilt, right? And I think so often, you know, people with uteruses who have the ability to carry and have children have been told what to do with their bodies. So I really appreciate what you say about, of course, everyone's going to make their own choices. But too often we say, well, you have to have children, you know, particularly as a woman, this is your role in the world. And I love that we are challenging that people get to make those choices, and that, you know, if they do want to have kids, they can. If they don't want to have kids, that's amazing.
The choice to have a kid or not to have a kid is not really the question, in my opinion. The question is, are you doing it intentionally? Because I think the worst decision that you can make when it comes to having a child is having a child for someone else's reason. We're having a kid because we think it's going to be an amazing adventure. It's going to be an experience that we will never be able to have in any other way. And you're excited about it and I'm excited about it. And we think we're going to be pretty good at it. I think that that's really what it all comes down to. And thank you for asking a difficult but important question. Do you think the channel will be changed by virtue of you having done this trip? Oh, and there's the phone.
There's the phone. Hold on.
I mean, of course, the answer is yes. I think that over the course of the year, our channel has gone through a pretty big transformation.
So while we know that this channel is going to look different, obviously we're not going to be living in a Prius doing this massive adventure, but I think if you've either been around for a long time or if you're new here, Levi and I, by virtue of who we are and also of this channel, we do some really cool shit. Like we do cool things and we want to share it with people, right? And so we're excited. We're already so excited for the next adventure that we're embarking on, and that's a child, but much more than that as well. So I don't know, like I'm interested to see how that like adventure style, the living alternatively and with intentionality, that is still such a fundamental part of this channel and for the foreseeable future. I think it'll always will be.
To get a little bit more literal with you, our plan is as follows. We are going to be living with Leah's parents up until we have the baby at least, and then a few months after that in order to get our bearings. During that process, we will be purchasing, restoring, and then traveling in a vintage travel rig of some sort. We don't know what it will be, and we don't know how we will restore it because we don't have those skills.
You will watch us figure out if we are made of the right stuff to do that.
And during that time, we will also share some of the adventures of us becoming new parents. If you want extra content from us or you want to support the channel, we have Patreon where we're going to be doing some fun stuff over there. And if not, make sure you're subscribed because you'll see us every single Saturday.
Thanks for your questions. Bye.
Bye. So this is our room, slowly coming together, and theoretically there's gonna be a kid in there at some point.
I've been in total like declutter, puttering, nesting mode. Like I'm taking everything out of closets just to feel ready.